So this is the flyer that we made for Maker Faire this year. I'm Keith from Kinvert, and we wanted to make a flyer that flies. And so I thought of what plane to make, and there was a plane that I saw when I was about 8 years old, and I went home and tried to figure out how to make it. And I never did figure out exactly how to make the same one, but I came up with this plane, and I think it's pretty cool. When you're done, it should end up looking like this. It flies really well. There are a couple difficult steps, but if you follow the instructions, I think you're going to do fine. So if you look here, you're going to see the first two folds that we're going to make are these really big edges. And then after that, we're going to make this fold through the middle. To make the first fold, we're going to flip the paper over and bring this corner down. Now keep in mind, the blue is towards me, right? So we're going to fold this down. We're going to get the corner to the edge of the paper, and what we want to do is get it nice and flush. Okay, we want the edge, when we crease it, to go through this line. We want the crease to go straight through the corner of the paper. Okay, so we're going to make our crease right here. See, now this wasn't done perfectly. I left a bit of an edge here, but I want to show you that even if you have little mistakes like this, it'll still do fine. So now we're going to take this edge and we want to bring the corner down to here where we have this little crease. You should be able to see the crease. Okay, we're going to bring this down to here. Get it flush, and now we're going to make our next fold right along here. See that? So now when we open this up, we should see sort of an X that we made. Okay, we can flip the paper over and hopefully we'll see that our creases go pretty well through the lines on the paper. So now we're going to fold this down. We want the fold to go through that line between the blue and white, and what we can do is bring these corners that we made down to the corners of the lines here. Okay, so I've got this flush here, and the goal is we want to fold it straight through the middle of the X. All right, so when we open this up, we should see that our fold follows this line. Okay, we can flip this over, and now we'll see that this line goes straight through the middle of the X that we made earlier. So what we can do is we just kind of push this down, and this is one of the hard parts, but it's not that bad. What we're doing is creating something, I think it's called a water bomb when you're in origami, so we just kind of see how my fingers are here on the edges, and then I push forward to kind of crease the nose down. All right. And then what we do is sort of pancake this down a bit. See how this is pancaked down? So we're just kind of going to push this down so that it's flat. And we want these corners to match the corners here. So we're getting those corners over there. And then what we're going to end up doing is making a crease here. Okay? So we're going to make this crease down the middle. And then it should stay relatively flat like this. Now we're going to make these two folds. We're going to do that by bringing the corners here up to the point of the nose. And then we're going to make this crease. All right? We're going to do the same for both sides. So we grab this point, see? Grab this point, bring it up to the corner of the nose, create our fold. Now we have this. Next we're going to be making these folds. All right, you see these lines? So what we're going to do is bring this down, and we want to make this edge flush with this edge here. See that? And that's what's going to make it go through the line. So we bring this down. We make sure that it's flush with this edge down the middle. And now we make our crease. All right? We're going to do the same over here. We bring this one up. Okay, you can see the line. And now we're going to make this fold so that it goes through there, and we're going to do that by making this flush with this. All right? So now we've got these two things. Okay? We're going to take this edge here, this little corner, and we're going to bring it down from the nose. We want it to be flush with this edge, and we're going to bring it downwards, but we don't want to quite go so far low that it passes this corner, so we're going to right about here. Okay? And you should be able to see that we've got that little space there. We're going to do the same here. We're going to bring this edge down, keep it flush with this edge, and make our crease here. Now we can fold these two outwards. See that? And we're going to take this nose down. Now it's important not to go too far down. We want to make sure that there's a little bit of an edge before that corner here. So we make this fold, and you see how there's a little space between here and here? A little bit of space between there and there. That's going to be important in just a second. Now this is the other difficult part of making this plane. What you should see is you can slightly open this up on the edge here. Okay, we're going to slightly open this up. And so we've got both of these open. You just kind of put your finger in there a little bit. And then what you can do is just gently curve these a little. And we're going to stuff those inside of that little space we made. Stuff those in and then just gently get it so it goes nice and flat. Crease everything down. And you should have this. Okay? So now we're going to flip it back over. Now this is the top of the plane that we see here. And what we're going to do is we're going to fold along this long line here just below Kinvert.com. So we're going to fold this down. Now also keep in mind you should see just this little line right along here. It's also going to go through that line. So what we want to do is make sure that the back of this fin is flush to the back. We want to get it in the right position. And then we're going to crease it. See that? We're going to do the same for both sides. So this line right here before our below our Twitter account at KinvertEd, right below there, we're going to fold this down and make the crease. Okay? And then we're going to flip the plane around, and then we want to make this fold so that the wing is flush with itself. See that? So we're basically just folding this in half through that line, through this line just above Kinvert.com. We're going to make this fold. And there we go. We've got our little airplane. Okay, so you can see here how it looks. Here's the bottom. It's got sort of that little white triangle, right? You folded the nose down so you can see the K there. Right? If you folded this right, you should see these lines going basically through your creases. Now, the way that you usually fly this is you can grip it like this and throw it, or you can grip it like this. See that? And throw it like that. So you can grip it by these edges and throw, or grip sort of inside of here and throw it. So that's how you make this plane. It's a really cool flying plane. No matter how many times you make the plane, it'll fly a little different. It's pretty cool. Sometimes you can throw it and it'll come right back to you. Sometimes it'll go up. Sometimes it'll flip and go upside down and curve. There's a lot of different ways that this plane behaves. And one of the things that I did is I made little surfaces here. So for example, let's say your plane isn't flying high enough. You can make a couple little tears here. See this? I'm tearing through the middle where I made that line. I'm tearing through here. And then what you can do is just gently bend up. And that's going to help your airplane's nose stay up as it flies. Right? And the same can be done over here. If it's always rolling, you can tear these and you can use them as ailerons. So I'm not going to tell you how to fold those. But look up ailerons and imagine if your plane is flying this way but it's always twisting like this. How could you fold these ailerons to keep your plane from twisting too much? Okay? So that's the plane. This is a flying flyer. We think it's really cool. It's a lot of fun. All our students really loved it. And we hope you do too. Thanks a lot.